Christmas, of course, as a celebration, goes back some 2,000 years. And of course, it's been celebrated across the nations for all that time as well. So it's not surprising that over time and across the nations, a lot of different activities, customs, and legends have kind of grown up surrounding the celebration of Christmas and sometimes kind of weaving through it. There's one that perhaps is familiar to some of you who might be of Italian descent, but I only came to learn of it a couple years ago, and that's the story of what's known as the Christmas witch. Now, she's a good witch. But any of you ever heard that story? La Befana? It goes back to some parts of Italy. According to this legend, at the time Christ was born, as the astrologers were following the star and making their way to find the newborn king, they stopped in this one particular village in a town, and they stopped and asked a woman who was there at her home if she was aware of the newborn king, if she knew where he was, and so on. And this woman, who was well known in the town, she was well known as a housekeeper. She was always sweeping her house. She said no, she didn't know. In fact, she didn't hear anything about this newborn king. But she invited the astrologers, the Magi, to stay in her home that night. And they did. And then the next morning, they got up to leave to continue their journey. And they invited the woman to come along. And she declined. She said, no, I have too much work to do here at the house, cleaning and sweeping and so on. And so the Magi went off, and it was after some time the woman regretted the fact that she didn't go with them, that she turned down the invitation. And so she started later to go looking to catch up to the Magi so that she too could find this so-called newborn king and welcome him. But she searched and searched and searched, and she never caught up with the Magi. She finally found her way to the stable in Bethlehem. And by the time she got there, it was empty. The Magi had gone. There was no baby there, no parents. And so, as the legend goes, this woman, the good witch of Christmas, continues searching for the Christ child. And during the night, during the season, she leaves sweets and candies in homes for children in honor of this newborn king even today. And she always is pictured with that broom, sometimes even riding it, because she's the good witch of Christmas. As the story goes, she has regrets that she did not take the opportunity, she did not take the time to follow with the Magi to the newborn king. In the original Christmas story in the gospel, we remember about the innkeeper who would not make room for the Holy Family. And then we hear about La Befana, who would not take time for the Holy Family. And I think as we stand on this threshold of the new year, it's an opportunity for us to kind of look into ourselves and to see how often it's the same with us. We don't make room for Christ in our busy lives, or we don't make enough room for Christ and his ways and his teachings, or we don't take time enough for Christ and his ways. Today, on this week after Christmas, we in the Catholic Church observe the solemnity of Mary as Mother of God. And so the focus shifts a little bit onto Mary more particularly. And in the gospel, we hear this one simple line that as the shepherds come to the stable and worship, and as they leave, we're told that Mary simply kept all these things, reflecting on them in her heart. She certainly made room, not just for her newborn son, but for all of the meanings of these circumstances that surrounded this birth, for all the mystery that was there. What could this all mean? She kept those things in her heart. She made room and she took time. In fact, we're told that Mary is kind of a model of the church, as the church itself is called to really contemplate the events of our lives and of the life of Christ, to really look deeply into the meaning of those events, to see what God, in fact, is calling us to. So often, maybe we Americans especially are known culturally throughout the world as being very, very busy all the time, very hard workers. And maybe we need to take a little bit more time to reflect on all the good things that we are doing, and maybe also the things that are not so good, and to consider where do they fit into the plan of God. And so perhaps rather than us being very, very busy about making New Year's resolutions, what I'm going to do this new year, let's spend some time wondering what God is going to do for us in this new year, what God is going to do with us and in us in this new year. Let us be faithful and imitate Mary as one who, in fact, held all these things, reflecting on them, reflecting on their meaning, what God's plan is for her, what God's plan is for us, in her mind and in her hearts.